The Galactic Empire had conquered more star systems than any other power in known space. Their fleets moved like storms, fast and unstoppable. When the Empire entered a system, resistance usually ended within hours. Because of this, the Empire believed fear itself worked for them. That belief followed them when their long-range scouts reached the edge of a quiet region marked on old maps as Terran space. At first, nothing looked special. No giant fleets. No massive defense platforms. No signs of a great power. Then the message appeared. It was old, repeating, and simple. Every channel carried the same words in clear galactic standard. Warning. Terran space. Do not enter. Turn back now. The scout commander paused. The message did not threaten. It did not beg. It did not explain. It simply repeated, calm and steady, like a rule written into space itself. The scouts reported back. Within hours, Admiral Zareth stood on the bridge of the Imperial flagship, staring at the warning displayed on a massive screen. Officers around him whispered. Some were curious. Others were uneasy. Is this a joke? Zareth asked. No, Admiral, a sensor officer replied. The message is real. It is automated. Very old. How old? Several hundred cycles, maybe more. The bridge grew quiet. Admiral Zareth laughed. An ancient warning from a weak species, he said. If they were powerful, we would already know their name. The Empire's history was clear. Any truly dangerous civilization left traces, wars, ruins, legends. Terrans had none. No great battles. No galactic influence. Nothing. Zareth turned to his fleet commanders. We proceed, he ordered. Full fleet entry. Standard formation. Some officers hesitated, but no one argued. The Empire did not turn back because of a message. The fleet crossed the border. At first, nothing happened. Stars burned quietly in the distance. Space looked normal. Too normal. Then the first problem appeared. Admiral, a navigation officer said, voice tight. Long-range sensors are degrading. Explain. They are not failing, the officer said. They are being blocked. Something is interfering with our readings. Electronic warfare? Zareth asked. No known signature. The warning message continued to repeat, unchanged. Do not enter. Turn back now. Silence it, the Admiral ordered. They tried. The message could not be jammed. It did not come from a ship or station. It came from everywhere and nowhere at the same time, as if space itself was speaking. Minutes later, another officer spoke. Admiral, we can no longer detect the rear of our own fleet. What? Zareth snapped. Ships behind us are still there, the officer said. But sensors cannot see them. Visual cameras show nothing. It is like they are fading from reality. Zareth felt a flicker of irritation. Tricks. Illusions. Humans were known for deception, according to weak rumors. Maintain course, he said. This is intimidation. Nothing more. The fleet moved deeper. Stars began to look strange. Their light bent slightly, stretching into thin lines. Space felt heavy, as if something unseen pressed against the hulls. A junior officer swallowed. Admiral, our jump drives are not responding. Zareth turned slowly. Not responding, he repeated. They are online, the officer said. Fully powered. But they will not activate. It is like something is holding them in place. Silence spread across the bridge. The warning message played again. Last warning. Turn back now. For the first time, Admiral Zareth did not laugh. He stepped closer to the screen, eyes narrowing. The message still showed no anger. No fear. Only certainty. "Who are the Terrans?" he asked quietly. No one answered. Before anyone could speak, a new signal appeared. A single contact. One ship. It was small compared to Imperial warships. Old by design. Scarred. Alone. It did not broadcast threats. It did not lock weapons. It simply drifted in front of the entire Imperial fleet. And then, for the first time since entering Terran space, the warning message stopped. The human ship sent one short transmission. "You were warned." Admiral Zareth felt something unfamiliar tighten in his chest. Fear. The human ship floated in front of the Imperial fleet, unmoving and alone. It looked damaged, almost broken. Its hull was dark, marked with old scars from battles long forgotten. Compared to the Empire's massive warships, it seemed small and weak. Admiral Zareth stared at it in disbelief. "One ship," he said. "This is their defense." No weapons were charging. No shields flared. The human ship did nothing. "That transmission," an officer said carefully, "came from the Terran vessel. Very short range. Very clear." Zareth straightened. Pride pushed away the fear that had tried to take hold. "Target the ship," he ordered. "Disable it. I want survivors." The Imperial gunners locked on. Energy weapons powered up, filling the void with a low hum. The fleet had erased planets for less. Fire. A wall of blue energy slammed into the human ship. The blast should have torn it apart. It didn't. The Terran ship shook slightly, its hull glowing for a moment, then the light faded. The ship remained intact. Still drifting. Still silent. Murmurs spread across the bridge. "Impossible," someone whispered. "Fire again," Zareth snapped. The second volley was stronger. More precise. Enough to shatter a cruiser. The human ship absorbed it. Then something changed. A low pulse rolled through space. Not a weapon. Not an explosion. It felt more like a deep breath. "Admiral," the sensor officer said, voice shaking, "multiple Imperial ships just disappeared." Zareth turned sharply. "Destroyed?" "No, sir," the officer replied. "They did not explode. They did not leave debris. They are simply gone." A tactical display showed empty spaces where destroyers had been moments before. "Vanished." "Cause?" Zareth demanded. "No weapon signatures. No energy spikes. Nothing." The human ship finally moved. It rotated slowly, facing the fleet. A single light appeared at its center, not bright, not threatening. Calm. Another transmission followed. "You crossed the line." Fear returned to the bridge, stronger now. Zareth clenched his fists. "All ships, defensive formation. Scan everything. I want answers." Imperial vessels spread out, weapons tracking shadows that did not exist. Sensors screamed with false readings, contacts that appeared and vanished in seconds. Then more ships disappeared. One by one. Not from the front. Not from the back. From the middle of the fleet. Crew members panicked. "They're taking us apart," an officer shouted. "From where?" another yelled. No one knew. The human ship did not chase. It did not attack again. It simply watched. Suddenly, the Empire's largest battleship, the glorious Dominion, lost all power. Lights went out. Engines died. It drifted helplessly. Before anyone could react, space folded inward around it. The battleship was crushed into nothing. No sound. No explosion. Just absence. Admiral Zareth felt cold. "This is not a battle," he whispered. "This is an execution." "Admiral," a communications officer cried. "We're receiving signals, from all directions. Screens filled with Terran symbols. Maps. Lines. Timers counting down." A translated message appeared. "Terran space is layered. You are not in normal space." Zaretha's eyes widened. Layered space meant traps built into reality itself. Weapons that could not be seen because they were not weapons in the normal sense. "How deep are we?" he asked. The navigation officer checked readings, then went pale. "Admiral, we are several layers in. Even if our jump drives worked, we could not escape." The human ship sent one final message. "This was your last chance to turn back." The ship vanished, not destroyed, not cloaked. It simply stepped out of reality. Seconds later, massive shapes began to appear around the Imperial fleet. Not ships. Structures. Hidden Terran defense stations unfolded from space itself. Thousands of them. Silent. Massive. Perfectly positioned. Weapons powered up. Admiral Zareth understood the truth too late. The warning had never been a threat. It had been mercy. The Terran defense stations surrounded the Imperial fleet like a closing fist. They did not rush. They did not speak. Their weapons powered up in perfect silence, as if time itself obeyed them. Admiral Zareth stared at the tactical map. Every possible escape route was blocked. Space around them bent and folded, forming invisible walls. "Open all channels," Zareth ordered. "Broadcast surrender codes. Now." The Imperial signal spread across the void. No reply came. The Terran stations did not acknowledge surrender. They did not even react. Then the attack began. It was not loud. There were no massive explosions. Instead, thin lines of light appeared, brief flashes that cut through Imperial ships with perfect accuracy. Cruisers lost engines. Carriers lost weapons. Battleships lost power. One by one, the fleet was being stripped, not destroyed. "They're disabling us," an officer said, confused. "Why not finish it?" Zareth understood. "They are studying us," he said quietly. "Learning." Fear turned into dread. Imperial ships tried to fire back. Their weapons failed. Energy beams twisted, bending away from Terran stations as if space itself rejected them. "Admiral," a science officer said, trembling, "Terran technology is rewriting local physics. Our weapons cannot function here." Zareth closed his eyes for a moment. The Empire had walked into a battlefield where its strength meant nothing. Then something worse happened. The stars began to move. Not slowly. Not naturally. Whole star systems shifted positions on the display. Lines of gravity pulled Imperial ships off course, dragging them apart from one another. "Maintain formation," Zareth shouted. They couldn't. Space tore the fleet into isolated groups. Lone ships found themselves completely alone, surrounded by darkness and silent Terran structures. From one of those ships, a desperate message came through. "They're inside our hull. Not boarding, appearing. There." The signal cut off. Zareth felt his breath tighten. Terrans were not just masters of space. They controlled entry itself. A new transmission finally arrived. This time, it came from everywhere at once. A human voice spoke, calm, controlled, and emotionless. "You are not being attacked," the voice said. "You are being removed." Zareth stepped forward. "This is Admiral Zareth of the Galactic Empire," he said. "We request terms." There was a pause. "Terms were offered," the human replied. "You ignored them." The bridge shook as another battleship vanished, erased between seconds. Why? Zareth demanded. Why build such defenses? Why hide? The human voice answered without hesitation. Because the galaxy does not respect weakness. And we do not announce strength. Zareth finally understood. Humans had not expanded. They had not conquered. They had waited. They had turned their space into a weapon so terrible that no one would ever need to test it twice. The Terran stations began to power down. For a moment, Zareth felt hope. Then the human voice spoke again. Judgment complete. Sentence begins. All remaining Imperial ships lost power at once. Darkness swallowed the fleet. Admiral Zareth stood frozen as reality itself started to close in around his ship, folding layer by layer. The last thing he saw was a single Terran symbol appearing on the main screen. It meant only one thing. No exit. Darkness filled the Imperial flagship. Emergency lights flickered on, casting long red shadows across the bridge. Consoles were dead. Engines silent. Weapons useless. The proud heart of the Galactic Empire had become a drifting shell. Admiral Zareth stood still, listening to the sound of his own breathing. Status, he said, though he already knew the answer. No propulsion. No weapons. No external communication. Only one channel remained open. The Terran channel. The screens came alive on their own. Not with images of ships or weapons, but with a human figure. The commander wore no armor, no symbols of rank that the Empire recognized. The human looked calm, almost tired. You are the last functioning command vessel, the human said. Your fleet has been neutralized. Zareth forced himself to speak. Neutralized, he asked bitterly. You erased them. The human shook his head slightly. Erased implies anger. This was procedure. Zareth clenched his jaw. Then end it. Why speak to me at all? Because history matters, the human replied. And someone must remember why this happened. The commander gestured, and the screen changed. It showed star maps, old ones. Very old. Terrans learned early, the human continued, that expansion invites war. So we did not expand. We fortified. Zareth watched as layers appeared on the map. Circles inside circles. Each one labeled. Observation layer. Disruption layer. Containment layer. Termination layer. You crossed them all, the human said. No one ever does. Zareth felt a heavy weight settle in his chest. Why give a warning, he asked quietly, if no one is meant to survive? The human met his gaze. Because some listen. Silence followed. Then alarms screamed again, not Imperial alarms, but something deeper. Space around the flagship began to shimmer, folding inward like a closing gate. Zareth steadied himself. What will happen to us? You will not be destroyed, the human answered. You will be removed from time. Zaretha's eyes widened. That is death. No, the human said. It is worse. Death is remembered. The flagship began to stretch, its shape warping as the layers of Terran space closed. Zareth looked around at his officers. Fear, regret, disbelief, all of it reflected back at him. Send this message, he ordered suddenly. To the Empire. To everyone. Record everything. The human commander paused. You may transmit, he said. Zareth turned to the camera. This is Admiral Zareth, he said, voice steady despite everything. Terran warnings are real. Their space is not empty. It is a weapon. Do not test them. Do not. Space folded again. The message cut off. The human commander watched silently as the Imperial flagship vanished, sealed between layers of controlled reality. The Terran fleet finally arrived. Massive human warships emerged, not from hyperspace, but from the space between layers. They did not chase survivors. There were none. Status, the human commander asked. Terran space secure, an officer replied. No foreign presence remains. The commander nodded. Restore the warning. Across the border of Terran space, the message returned, calm and unchanged. Warning. Terran space. Do not enter. Turn back now. The galaxy would hear it. And this time, it would listen. The galaxy noticed the absence before it heard the story. An entire Imperial invasion fleet, gone. No wreckage. No survivors. No distress beacons drifting through space. The Galactic Empire tried to hide the loss, but silence on that scale could not be hidden for long. Trade routes near Terran space closed overnight. Independent scouts reported the same thing again and again. Imperial transponders ended at the Terran border. Nothing crossed back. Weeks later, a single transmission appeared across every major network in the galaxy. It was old, damaged, and clearly a final recording. Admiral Zaretha's face filled the screens. This is Admiral Zareth of the Galactic Empire, the message said. Terran warnings are not threats. They are facts. Their space is not defended like ours. It is designed. The recording ended abruptly. Panic spread. The Empire issued statements of denial. They claimed a navigation failure. A classified mission. Anything but the truth. But their fleet stopped moving toward Terran space. Quietly. Carefully. Other species listened. Exploration councils reclassified the region. Maps were updated. Terran space was marked in black, surrounded by red warning symbols. Terran space, absolute restriction. Humanity said nothing. They did not send diplomats. They did not boast. They did not chase power or territory. Their fleet stayed inside their borders, unseen, waiting. That silence frightened the galaxy more than any declaration of war. Years passed. A young alien historian, studying lost fleets, discovered something strange. Every record of Terran defense showed the same pattern. They always warned first. Always. Those who listened lived. Those who didn't vanished. In private councils, leaders spoke Terran space with fear and respect. Children were taught the story of the empire that ignored a warning and paid the price. Terrans became a lesson, not an enemy. Deep within Terran space, hidden beneath layers of controlled reality, human commanders reviewed the logs of the encounter. No celebration. No pride. Only confirmation. Orders held, one officer said. The commander nodded. Then our people sleep safely. And if someone tests us again, another asked. The commander's answer was simple. They will receive the same warning. Far beyond Terran space, the warning continued to repeat, unchanged, calm, and eternal. Warning. Terran space. Do not enter. Turn back now. The galaxy listened. Because now, everyone knew what happened when you didn't.